Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your App of the Week.
Now we turn to our App of the Week section, and John demonstrates the venerable app, Button Mapper.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of App of the Week. Today I'll be demonstrating an app called Button Mapper. Now there is a free version of this, and there is a pro version of this, and I bought the pro version a long time ago, and I don't remember how much it costs, and I don't remember what features you get from it, so hopefully that's something you could see in the description if you go read the description for the app. But I'm just going to be demonstrating what I can do with the version I have. I'm just going to use Gemini to find it. Download Button Mapper.
Play Store. Navigate up. Button.
Here we are in the Play Store. First result.
Button Mapper. Remap your keys. FLAR 2. Personalization. Themes. Star rating 3.6. Downloaded 5 million plus times.
So this is the one you want. FLAR 2 is the developer.
Navigate up. Button. Install. Button.
I'm going to install it.
Verified by Play Protect. Navigate up. Button. Button Mapper. Remap your keys. Installing. Open. Button.
And now I'm going to open it.
Button Mapper. Remap your hardware buttons, launch apps, shortcuts or actions with a single, double or long press.
As you can hear, I'm letting it sort of describe it to you rather than just trying to describe it myself. I'm going to go to the next page of the onboarding.
Button Mapper works with hardware keys only. Button Mapper cannot remap on-screen buttons such as the navigation bar or the power button. Screen-off actions require root or advanced ADB setup. Works on most phones.
Next page.
Permissions on some Android devices. The system may stop the Button Mapper background service, preventing remapping from working. Please grant Button Mapper permission to run in the background. Allow background usage. Many phones have additional battery optimization that stops Button Mapper. Visit don'tkillmyapp.com for solutions. don'tkillmyapp.com.
So we're going to look for the button to grant permission.
Allow background usage. Button.
This is the one we're looking for.
Optimize battery usage. Stop optimizing battery usage. Button Mapper will be able to run in the background. Its battery usage won't be restricted. Deny. Button. Allow. Button.
I'm going to allow.
Button Mapper. Allow background usage. Button.
Obviously, by the description of this app, you're going to want it running all the time. I use it, and I can tell you that, at least on my Samsung phone, it doesn't seem to have any effect on battery life. Now that I've enabled that permission, I'm going to go to the next page.
Your privacy is respected. Button Mapper does not collect any personal information. Button Mapper does not have ads or share your data with third parties. Permissions are used only to detect button presses and perform actions.
Next page.
Get started. Button Mapper uses Android's powerful accessibility framework to remap your keys. Permissions are only used to detect button presses and perform actions. Please go to Settings to activate Button Mapper. Open Settings.
This is going to need an accessibility permission, so I'm going to hit this button.
Open Settings. Button. Accessibility. Navigate up. Button.
Now it's different depending on your device, but on a Samsung phone, I need to find installed apps or something similar.
Installed apps. 16 apps.
Opening this.
Installed apps. Navigate up. Button. Accessibility menu. Control device via large menu. Authenticator. Off. Button Mapper. Off.
I'm going to hit this.
Button Mapper. Navigate up. Button.
And I'm going to turn on the switch for it.
Button Mapper. Off. Switch. Allow Button Mapper to have full control of your device. Full control is appropriate for apps that help you with accessibility needs, but not for most apps.
And I'm going to hit allow.
Allow. Button. Button Mapper Pro.
Okay, so now that we are in the main interface of the app, we will just explore it together.
Like. Button.
So this like button It'll open a menu where you can share, provide feedback, or rate the app.
More options button.
Then we have a More Options button. I'm just going to show you what's in here.
Pop-up window. Reset to defaults.
An easy way to set everything back to normal.
Start stop service. Uninstall. Theme. High contrast.
So as you can see, it allows you to select the theme, and it also allows you to turn on or off high contrast.
Language.
Choose your language.
Introduction.
Go through that onboarding again if you want to.
About.
And of course, we gotta have about. That's all that's in this menu. I'm gonna close it.
Button Mapper Pro. More options. Button.
And now here's the main part of the app.
Buttons.
You have a heading for buttons.
Volume up. Volume down. Headset button.
So as you can see, these are the buttons that we can customize.
Add buttons.
You're also able to add buttons. So if you are blessed with a device that has additional hardware buttons, you can go in here and it will have you press the button, and if it can detect it, it will let you remap that button as well. It depends on your device whether it can be detected or not. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I've used this app on Android TV devices to remap buttons on the remote, but obviously some phones have additional hardware buttons, and this app may or may not let you customize those buttons. You'll just have to try it. Continuing through here.
Troubleshooting. More options.
We'll come back to more options. I'm going to see what else is on this page.
Screen off actions.
So this, I believe, is a heading.
Android does not natively support remapping while the screen is off. Button Mapper uses advanced methods to allow screen off remapping on most devices. Screen off actions. Volume button single, double and long press works on most devices, requires a DB command after every reboot. Off. Switch.
So you would turn this on if you want screen off button presses to work, but that's not something I'm going to bother with for this demo. And in fact, I don't want to have to do an ADB command every time I reboot my phone, so I've never tried this feature.
Suppress volume change. Try not to change volume while screen is off. Off. Switch.
Continuing through these options.
Skip tracks with volume buttons. Use volume buttons for previous, next track with screen off. Off. Switch.
And if you turn this on, there's an option that you can further customize it below.
Double tap volume to skip tracks. Off. Switch disabled.
Of course, that's disabled because we didn't turn that on.
Global options. Pocket detection. Prevent actions while device is in your pocket. Off. Switch. Default to media volume. Force volume buttons to control media stream. Off. Switch. Swap volume orientation. Adjust orientation based on screen rotation. Off. Switch.
So this option, it's kind of if you, for example, like if you're using a tablet that has the volume keys on the right side of it, and you turn it to landscape, and then the left button is volume up and the right button is volume down, and you want it to behave differently, that's where you would turn this option on.
Zello PTT. Press and hold volume up or down button to talk. Off. Switch.
Sounds like some push to talk thing I've never messed with.
Settings permission. Allow this permission via ADB to enable more options. Off. Switch.
So this will give you the instructions on how to enable more possibilities with this app, which I may dive into deeper later on in this demo.
Button sounds. Play sound on button press. Off. Switch. Long press vibration. 30%. 30%. Slider. Backup and restore. Backup or restore button mapper settings.
So that's all the settings we have on the main page. I'm going to go to the more options that we skipped over earlier.
More options.
I'm going to go in here. Now this is not the more options at the top right. This is just another option in the list on the main page. And now when you double tap on this, and same with the buttons when we customize them later, it kind of puts a pop-up on the screen. So if you want to get to it, you can either explore the screen to find it, or you can do the talkback gesture for next container.
Button options.
So I just did the gesture for next container, because if you just continue swiping right, it'll keep you on the page you were already on, showing you these additional options.
Long press delay, 400 milliseconds.
I'm actually going to change this while I'm here because I like it to be as short as possible.
Long press delay, 150 milliseconds.
So changing this to 150.
Button Mapper Pro, long press delay, 150 milliseconds.
You can also customize.
Double tap delay, 300 milliseconds default. Wait for double tap. Delay single press action for 300 milliseconds. On, switch. Simulate key codes. Use custom key codes to simulate any button. Opens up more options but requires a DB shell script after every reboot. Off, switch.
Just want you to see all the customizations that we have here. Next.
Bypass options.
Now these are situations where you don't want Button Mapper to do whatever you've assigned it to do.
Bypass system UI. Disable Button Mapper for system dialogues. Off, switch. Bypass camera. Disable Button Mapper when camera is used. On, switch. Bypass clock. Disable Button Mapper when clock is open. On, switch. Bypass phone. Disable Button Mapper during phone calls. On, switch. Volume panel bypass. Disable Button Mapper when volume panel is shown. On, switch. Bypass lock screen. Disable Button Mapper while on lock screen. Off, switch. Bypass apps. Disable Button Mapper for selected apps.
The bypass option didn't work for me on my Samsung phone with the camera, so I had to actually choose camera as an app here from this setting. Depending on your manufacturer, you might have to do the same thing.
Misc options. Flashlight timeout, 5 minutes default. Brighter flashlight, off, switch. Alternate screenshot method. Use custom screenshot method, off, switch. Disable do not disturb. Button Mapper will not change do not disturb mode on volume presses. Off, switch. Show notification, off, switch. Increase notification priority, off, switch. Alternate lock method. Attempt to lock screen without disabling fingerprint, off, switch. Alternate assistant. Use voice_command intent to open assistant, off, switch. Monitor headphone jack. Used to route audio to speaker when using Mikey, Pressy, or other headphone jack buttons. Off, switch.
So as you can see, we're finally at the end. There are a lot of options in here. So I'm going to go assign a button to do something now. I'm going to back out of this.
Button Mapper Pro.
I'm going to scroll back to the top.
Buttons. Volume up.
I'm going to open this. Same as I described earlier, I'm going to go to the next container.
Volume up.
You can also just explore.
Customize. Off, switch.
So I'm going to turn this switch on, and it'll allow me to customize the volume up button.
On.
And these are what you can customize.
Single tap, default. Double tap, no action. Long press, default.
So you can customize any or all three of these. Keep in mind, you're probably going to want to leave a way to adjust your volume. You know, for me, the way I use my phone, I rarely press and hold the volume to adjust it. So that's what I assign to a different action. Opening this up.
Actions. Drop down list. Actions.
So here are the categories you have to choose from.
Pop-up window. Actions. Applications. Shortcuts. System. Media. Advanced.
And I'm going to go back to actions
Actions.
and show you some of the options you have in here.
Actions. Drop down list. Actions. No action. Default. Home. Back. Recents. Show menu. Open camera. Turn screen off. Sleep. Toggle flashlight. Screenshot. System settings. Select enter. Last app. App info current app. Keep screen on. Voice typing. In-app power dialog. Search. In-app search. Assistant. Scroll up. Scroll down. Copy. Cut. Deep paste. Headset button. D-pad center. D-pad up. D-pad down. D-pad left. D-pad right. Cancel button.
So as you can see, there are a lot of things to choose from. The one I usually like is Last App.
Keep screen on.
Let's see if I can find it again.
Voice typing. Power dialog.
I think it was above this.
Oh. Recent. Show me. Open. Turn screen. Toggle. Screen. System. Select. Last. App in. Last app.
There we are.
Button Mapper Pro. Long press. Last app.
And now, to the right of each of these, if you're a swiper, there's something that says it's an unlabeled button, but it's not actually a button.
Unlabeled button disabled.
So this is just an icon, basically, that represents a Last App, so you can just ignore it. So now, just to demonstrate, I'm going to press and hold the up volume.
Recent apps. Play Store. Navigate up. Button.
Now we're back in the Play Store. I'm going to press and hold it again.
Recent apps. Button Mapper Pro. Unlabeled button disabled.
Back in Button Mapper Pro. So a very quick way to switch back and forth between apps. That's why I like to have that assigned. Now I'm going to back out of this and customize my volume down.
Button Mapper Pro. Volume down. Customize. Off. Switch.
I'm going to turn this on. Don't forget to turn this on because everything will be disabled until you turn on this switch.
On.
Now I'm going to go to press and hold.
Long press. Default.
Or long press.
Actions. Drop down list. Actions.
Now I'm not going to do an action for this. I'm going to do something different.
Pop-up window. Actions.
And I'll explain some of these categories to you.
Applications.
This is pretty self-explanatory. If you wanted to open a specific app, you can go here to access your app list.
Shortcuts.
These are shortcuts for apps. So if you want an app to do a specific action, such as you want to open messages, but you want it to open in a specific conversation with the person, or you want your phone app to call a specific person, or you want to open Seeing AI in a specific mode, like text mode. This is how you do that type of thing. The next category.
System.
This is where I'm going to go, but let's see what's after this.
Media.
So all the different options for controlling media and volume, that sort of thing.
Advanced.
And then I'll show you what's in advanced.
Advanced. Drop down list. Advanced.
For those who are curious, although I'm not going to mess with any of this stuff.
Shell command. Broadcast intent. Custom keycode. Low latency and reliable requires a DB command every reboot. Custom keycode VER2. One-time ADB command. Higher latency and less reliable. Public intent. Open URL. HTTP GET request. HTTP POST request. Zello PTT.
So that was the list of advanced things. Going back to the drop-down.
Drop-down list. Advanced. Pop-up window. Actions.
What I want is system.
Application. Shortcut. System. System. Drop-down list. System.
And I'll just show you what the options are in here because they're kind of important.
Toggle silent. Vibrate ring.
This is what I'm going to set it to, but I'm going to show you the other options in here.
Toggle ring. Vibrate. Do not disturb. Quick settings. Notifications. Clear notifications. Brightness plus. Brightness. Toggle auto brightness. Toggle mobile data. Toggle NFC. Toggle airplane mode. Invert colors. Toggle auto rotate. Toggle portrait landscape. Change keyboard.
That was everything there. But going back to the top, what I want is
Toggle silent. Vibrate ring. Button Mapper Pro. Long press. Toggle silent. Vibrate ring.
this is what I like to have as my volume down long press. And it gives you feedback so you know what mode you're in. So I'm going to press and hold this.
Do not disturb permission. Navigate up. Button.
And because it was my first time trying, actually, I haven't set this up in a while, so I forgot about this, but you need do not disturb permission. So it brought me to the settings where I can enable this. So I'm going to find Button Mapper.
Always on display. Android Auto. Android System. Auto Blocker. Auto Hots. BBC. Biometrics. Brightness B. Button Mapper. Off. Switch.
Turn it on.
Allow Button Mapper to access Do Not Disturb. Allow. Button. Do Not Disturb permission. Always on display. On. Switch disabled.
Okay, backing out of this.
Button Mapper Pro. Long press. Toggle silent. Vibrate ring.
All right, let's try it again. So I got a strong, short vibrate, which if I remember correctly means it's set to sound on. If I press it again, that's a longer, strong vibration, which means it's set to vibrate. And then that time, it was a 2 quick, light pulses, which means it's on silent. So just by pressing it, I'm going to put this near the mic, see if you can hear. That means ring. That means vibrate. And that means silent. So you can quickly change to one of those modes. Obviously your screen has to be on, but your phone can be locked. So if you just want to turn on the screen so that you're on the lock screen and press and hold a key, you can quickly change your mode that way. Like I said earlier, you can customize any and all of these, whether it be long press, single press, or double press. So, if you really want to customize it, what I tried doing is I had a single press of volume up and a single press of volume down assigned to open different apps. One would open Magnifier, one would open Seeing AI. Assuming that I could just double press to adjust volume, and it works. If you just have to double press to go up or down 1 volume increment, or triple press to go up or down 2 volume increments, and so on. So if you can get your muscle memory to remember how to adjust volume that way, then you can customize this even further. But for me, I would just press it once, not thinking, and it would open the app I had assigned to that. So you have to be very intentional with how you set these settings, and if you want more customization, you might just have to get used to how you're going to start controlling your volume from that point on. One more thing I think I'm going to demonstrate in this is for more advanced settings. I'm going to go back in here.
System. Drop down list. System.
And sometimes I like to have something set to invert colors.
Toggle airplane mode.
See if I can find it.
Invert colors.
Here it is. And this is what it's going to tell us.
Button Mapper. Advanced setup.
So I'm going to show you how you can do the advanced setup if you want.
This setting requires right_secure_ settings permission. Follow this guide to grant permission using your PC. This is a one-time setup that will only take a few minutes. Windows. Button.
So I have Windows. I'm going to hit here.
Enable USB debugging. Plug a USB cable into your device and connect to a PC. If a permission dialog pops up, tap OK to allow USB debugging. Unlabeled. Connected.
So, because I'm already connected through ADB to record this demo, it's showing as connected. I guess that unlabeled button was a connected icon. But just to give you the quick version of how to enable debugging is you have to first enable developer options. You go to your settings, find your about phone settings, software information, and look for the build number. Keep double tapping on that until it lets you enable developer options. Then find developer options and go to enable USB debugging, turn that on. Then you can come here, plug this in, and once it says connected,
Next button.
You can hit next.
Download the setup tool on your PC. Visit the web address below on your PC to download the Button Mapper setup tool. Unzip and run Button Mapper setup.x. Setup buttonmapper.app.
So on my PC, I'm going to go to this address. I'm just going to open the start menu.
Search window, search box, edit.
I'm going to type setup.buttonmapper.app.
S E U P period U T O N A P P E R P A P P. No I button mapper advanced setup personal Microsoft Edge window.
So here on the page,
Heading level 2 button mapper. Advanced setup. Heading level 2 Windows setup. Note Android 12 users must use manual commands.
so further down on this page, you can go to the manual commands. So if that's how you want to do it, which actually that's probably how I'm going to do it, that's an option. But also there is an app you can download that makes it really easy to turn on and off specific access to certain features. Continuing down the page,
Use this application on your Windows PC or laptop to allow Button Mapper to remap the Bixby button or Active Edge, add more actions, simulate key codes, or enable screen off actions without root.
so yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Some LG phones may require installing the LG Universal Mobile Driver on your PC and rebooting. Requires USB debugging enabled on your Android phone, tablet, or Android TV device.
Which I explained earlier.
Simply download, unzip, and run buttonmappersetup.exe. Heading level 3, Windows. Buttonmappersetup.zip. 2.6 MB. Download.
So here's where you would download it. But I'm going to go through this manual setup area because this is how I prefer to do it.
If you use Mac or Linux, or want to do this manually, here are the commands.
So I will have cut out at this point going through all the items, but the one I was looking for is this one.
Unlock more actions.
And here's the command for us.
/adb shell pm grant fleur 2.home button android.permission.write_secure_ settings.
So I'm going to copy this.
Copied last phrase to clipboard.
I'm just going to go where I have the platform tools on my PC.
Home, File Explorer window, shell fold, navigation pane tree, home. This PC, Jones S25 Ultra, local disk, C, collapsed. Items view list, ADB, non-selected, off.
I'm just going to open this ADB folder I have.
Space. Items view list, 0 connect, non-selected, off.
So now I'm just going to go to the address bar and type CMD to open a command prompt here.
Address bar, edit, CMD, blank, new, command prompt, editing.
Now I'm going to paste that command.
/adb shell pm grant fleur 2.home button android.permission.write_secure_ settings.
I know I don't need that slash at the beginning of it, so I'm going to go to the beginning.
/a
Okay, so now I'm going to delete the slash.
/adb shell pm grant fleur 2.home button android.permission.write_secure_ settings.
So now I'm going to hit enter here.
/adb.
And I'm assuming that's done it. Let's see.
Setup, buttonmapper.app. Done, button.
Back on my phone, I'm going to hit the done button.
Button Mapper Pro. Long press. Toggle silent, vibrate ring.
Now let's try again, see if it'll let me.
System. Drop down list. System. Clear notification. Brightness plot. Brightness. Toggle. Invert colors.
Okay, invert colors.
Button Mapper Pro. Long press. Invert colors.
Now I'm going to long press the volume down, and it's inverted my colors. Press the key again, it puts it back. So that is one of the ways you can go about enabling these more advanced features and settings. I hope this has been helpful and not too confusing. If you're still listening, thanks for listening. I'll catch you in the next one.
John, I'm right in thinking you can't use this to give yourself an additional accessibility shortcut, can you? I think I tried to do that once when I first moved to Android and it didn't work.
My guess would be no, unless you're rooted, because I think you could technically. I don't know. I don't know how to if you can. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I think I tried and I couldn't. It wouldn't let me do it. I had a non-Samsung phone and wanted a hardware G-Show shortcut at the time, and it wouldn't let me do it. It appeared to let me, but it didn't actually turn it on. So yeah.
Let me say this, even though this app is not necessarily for me, but I really like what the guy had to put in there. The guy really knows the Android system, and it's really a great app. And I don't know why people are even giving it 3.6. In my never to be humble opinion, this app is like maybe 4.6. It's a great app. So if you want to really dig down into this, listen to this, and customize your device the way you want it, I really like it. Most especially, for those of us that don't have like the action button, if you're a Pixel phone or whatever, this could come in handy, especially you want to assign the long pressing of a sudden button to do XYZ. I really like the app. Thanks, John, for demonstrating this app.
Well, regarding what Ed was asking about, I think it should be possible if the developer included the services in the app itself, because it has those ADB commands. And actually, John was able to create a shortcut for color inversion, right? So actually, it's actually an accessibility thing, accessibility service. So it shouldn't be a problem if for example, he includes TalkBack. So this should be a way to turn on TalkBack, isn't it?
Yeah. So when I went through the advanced settings, there was an option for shell command, I think, and I'm assuming that that's where you would be able to put an ADB command for turning on a service, and you can turn it on from a computer. The only thing I don't know is if you need root privileges to run ADB commands locally on the device. If you can do it, then it should work. Yeah, because there is an option to set that up.
Yeah, I think that might work. And maybe, John, like you demonstrated in your demo, one could just copy the whatever path if one knows it or if it's there. But I'm sure, like Karen says, if it works with that color inversion, my guess is that it would also work for TalkBack. And if it's not, maybe it's something that we could mention to the developer, and maybe something he overlooked and would be able to implement that. But I'm kind of almost feeling that it would work with TalkBack if one knows what they're doing.
Sounds like one we'll have to check. Interesting to know if it does.